My friends, we all have patterns that we need to break. And so today what I want to do is I want to help you create a little bit of leverage and make a little bit of awareness so that you may be able to break those patterns, AKA behaviors. Here's what I know. A majority of individuals try to get different results, but they keep the same behaviors. And so what I talk a lot about leverage inside the Vitality Mill, because in our phase 2 of our program, we have phase 1 is the quick start, phase 2 is 90 days to greatness. And at phase 2 of that, we create leverage. And the way we create leverage is we set targets. We have targets that we set in 90 days. Now, the majority of people, they look at the target and say, I want to lose 20 pounds. And what has to happen is we have to have a process and systems in play to lead us there. To like, these are the things that I need to do this week. Here's what I need to do today, and we're focused on that and moving forward. And then you have accountability mixed in with consistency and a plan. It's game over with. You're going to get great results. But what I want to talk about today is behaviors and patterns, and help you, like I said, create some leverage by asking you some questions, being transparent. Like, not ever acting like we've all got patterns we need to break. So I'm going to go in a little bit more about my behavior. Morning, I'm good to go. I fast throughout the day, because that's what I do. I fast through the day because I want a smaller window to eat. I work out very hard. I'm very consistent. I have my green juices every day. I do the little simple stuff every day. This allows me to have a lot more freedom on the nutrition side of it. And sometimes I let that freedom set me back, okay? And so what happens is my son will say, hey, let's have ice cream. I've ate good, I've done good, I've eaten good all day long, I've done what I needed to do, I've worked out, I'm feeling good. And the behavior for me is when I sit down in the chair and I kick back to relax, my subconscious comes into play and says, let's have a ball game, because it's time to back off. And it's years of me doing that on Friday, working hard all week long, and then Thursday night, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, having a free-for-all, and then having to start back on Monday. And I do that over and over, and that's why I created a lot of stuff that I've done inside the Vitality Mill, because I know if I'm doing it, that you're probably doing it too. And so for me, it's that evening at late night eating and things. And so that's why I want to talk to you more about that. What's the pattern that you need to change? What's the behavior that you need to change? It could be being on phone at night and it's costing you sleep. It could be alcohol. It could be food. Whatever it may be, there's something that's costing you, and that's what I want to talk about. A lot of people, I've got notes because I want to stay on track. A lot of people claim self-sabotage. That's what I used to do. I blow it on the Friday and Saturday. I'm like, oh, it's self-sabotage. Self-sabotage doesn't exist. It doesn't exist because it's as simple as making a decision at that moment. And I made a decision on and eating food in the evening time. I make a decision that this serves me better right now, putting this in here, than me being 10, 15 pounds lighter later on. I'm good with where I am right now, so I'm like, okay, instead of, if I need to lose 200, 300 pounds, and it might be something where I'm like, that my life is dependent on me losing weight, that makes a little bit more easier decision. But I'll give you more of how we break that pattern here in a second. So first question is, what is that behavior that you need to break? Okay. Second question, what are you getting from that behavior? So it could be out having a drink, having some alcohol. It helps me unwind. Having that ice cream, whatever, it lets me it tastes good. It helps me feel like I'm relaxing, or whatever it may be, even though it's something that I will regret later on, or we regret later on. So be specific in what is the behavior that, what do you get from that behavior? Be consistent there, or be specific there. And then what is it costing you? The next one is just, what is it costing you? Real simple question. If you, by me eating that, like I stay the same. I bust my butt in the gym. I work really hard. I stay about the same weight. So I don't get closer to my goal because I decide that I want to have more sweets in the evening time, or eat more food in the evening time, or not, whatever it may be. That is more, that means more to me than being down to 200 pounds and being lean and being and feeling more comfortable with my shirt off or whatever. That's the difference. Be specific on what you're getting from it, how it provides, gets sedation. So food, eating the food, it helps me sedate and take my mind off of stuff. Be clear on why we're doing what we're doing. It gives you confidence. Maybe if you're drinking, helps you unwind. But at the same time, what's it costing you? If you're not getting up in the, for me, eating food in the evening time late at night, it makes me more tired in the morning. Having a drink at night doesn't help you sleep, and it makes it where you don't get you don't wake up with as much energy and be able to maybe procrastinate. So when that pattern pops up, the biggest thing is we see more value of, I'm going to eat that Sunday is more valuable now than it's going to cost me later on. It's valuable right now to me and later on than what's going to cost me later on. So the next question is, what's the pattern the pattern cost you in the past? So for me, it's been summers that I've not been able to confidently be able to take my shirt off, or being a leader in the fitness inside my gym and feeling like I'm a fraud because I've ate food that I'm not proud of, or whatever it may be. This is stuff that I dealt with a lot when I was younger. It was like, felt like a big fraud and but then I realized, like, the more I shared, like, that's my message. Like, my mess is actually my message, and actually can help you and more individuals as well. So what's the pattern cost you in the past? What's going to happen in the future if you don't get a hold of this pattern or this behavior right now? What's going to happen in the future? Well, for me, it'd be regret. Like, I'm going to look back and go, I never was at the leanest that I could be at. I never got to my elite version of myself because I didn't say, hey, no, you know what, that ice cream sundae is something that I don't want. Because when we're aware of it, it becomes down to a decision. You can make a decision on, here's what it is. Do I want it or do I not want it? And that's what I want to get to you in a second is break that pattern up. So that pattern's going, and just usually I sit down in the chair, I kick back, and then my mind subconscious comes in and goes, party. And so I have to break that pattern. How do I break that pattern? So before I get into the pattern interrupt, what happens right before that triggers this? It's me sitting in the chair and unwinding and turning the TV on and sitting back and relaxing. It's me taking my mind and not being taking my mind off of everything that I've got going on and just wanting to relax a little bit. That's a trigger that says, hey Seth, you're relaxing. Remember, you want ice cream. That's how we relax. Remember, it automatically me doing that. So I have to break that pattern. So what is it that's doing, what's the trigger for you? Maybe somebody says something to you, maybe a long day, it may be that you're depressed, whatever it may be, there's some type of pattern, there's something that happens at that point that makes you want it. Going home at the end of the night and unwinding, got to have a drink. Whatever that is, there's something there, and we got to break that. Next question to help you create leverage. Who else is this pattern impacting? Like, if I don't have energy and I don't feel good, it impacts my relationship with my wife in the evening time. Because I'm tired after I eat, be tired, eat too much, tired, fall asleep. So it's impacting my relationship maybe with her. It's impacting the people that I can help, because they may look and go, look, back in the day I was the heavy trainer. I was the guy who was 20, 30 pounds overweight that needed to lose the weight, but at the same time, I knew my fitness and I was a great trainer, but I just didn't have those, I didn't know how to break the patterns. And so I'd fall into it over and over and over again. But what happens is, once we're aware, awareness precedes change, and we're able to change it. What's the benefit that you get if you stop, if you break this pattern, what's the benefit? I could be a role model, have more confidence, have more energy, be able to feel like like I said back in the day, feel like a fraud. So be able to step up and be the leader that I know that I'm created to be. So what happens? What's the benefit that you get from that? So the pattern interrupt. Had a client drive home at the end of the day, off work, drive home. He flips off. That's basically when he gets in his car. It's I'm done for the day. Let's go by the drive-through. He would go through the drive-through without even thinking about it. He would go through the drive-through. And so what we had to do was create a pattern interrupt. The way we created a pattern interrupt was putting on his steering wheel of his car, writing down what is it, his goals and what is it he wants. So then that reminds him, and he sees it, he wants to drop 100 pounds or whatever it may be. He sees it, and then when he goes by those drive-throughs, he's making the decision: do I want to stop by there or not? And man, it's powerful when you say, hey, you know what? I could drive by Taco Bell right now like I always do, and you say, know what? I'm going to drop that 100 pounds. It's powerful when you catch yourself and you break that pattern. But it's not going to change overnight. It's going to be something that you continuously work on and continuously get held accountable for, put consistency and effort behind it, and a strategic plan. So for me, food in the evening time. I've got an alarm that goes off at 8 o'clock that says, hey, you're not eating after 8 o'clock. And so that alarm goes off. That reminds me, you're not eating like a buffoon after 8 o'clock. And the next thing you know, I'm aware of it. And then I make a decision. It's all it is the discipline comes down to this. The decision I make right now versus the decision that I make later on. The majority of the time it's instant. So it says it's instant, it tastes good right now, we put it in. But if we looked at it and made a decision, do I want that or do I want to be 10 to 15 pounds later on? And discipline comes down to choosing later instead of choosing right now. So going through those questions, I'll read them off to you one more time. What is the pattern that you need to break? What do you get from the pattern, from the behavior? Be specific there. What's it costing you? What's that behavior costing you? What has that pattern cost you in the past? What has that behavior, that pattern cost you in the past? What's going to happen in the future if you don't get a hold of that pattern? What happens before that pattern? What happens before like me sitting and checking out for the day? That starts the pattern. My client getting into the car and heading home for the day, that starts the pattern. What starts the pattern? Something that triggers you. Who else is the pattern or the behavior impacting? And what's the impact if you stop? I want to know your biggest insights from that today. Shoot me down into the comments. Give me your biggest insights from that, and let me know. Look forward to hearing your insights. Hopefully this helps you and you can break a pattern and move forward. Awareness precedes change. So that pattern interrupt. Find something, but make it simple. Find something where you can look at and go, hey, you know what? Instead of me sitting down at night, I'm going to stretch. I'm going to, instead of me looking at my phone at night, I'm going to read a book. And you have something that you do that benefits you. Make it easy, make it simple. That pattern interrupt simple. If you make it difficult, then it's something that you won't do. I hope this helps you. But that once that pattern interrupt goes into play, then you can make a decision: do I want that or do I not want that? It comes down to that. That's what we help out with inside of all of our programs. Is we realize it's not just about the fitness, it's not just about the nutrition, it's about getting this bad boy to work for us. And then in order for us to get to where we want to get to, we have to change the behavior in order to get a different result. So that's what we try to do here at the Vitality Mill, is change the way you feel. First, change the way you think, change the way you feel. Change the way you feel, and you change the way you behave. Change the way you behave, then you can change your results. Thank you. If you need anything from me, then reach out, put your biggest insights underneath in the comments, and we'll go from there. Talk soon.